right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the show. This is K24 this morning with me, Shiko Kaitani. Welcoming you to our social hour. This being a Thursday, we're always tackling family and society, and the crew is ready to give you one solid hour of great talk. Okay, you know what to do if you'd like to reach us at K24 TV across the board, Instagram, Facebook, as well as X. You can see our WhatsApp number at the bottom of your screen. We'd love you to interact with us this morning. Okay, so today the topic may be a touchy one, especially for you gentlemen, because we are talking to you and we're actually talking about you. When you think of money, the first question that comes to mind is, what does it mean to a man? How does it define you as a man? And when faced with financial hardships, how does this actually affect you and those who are under you or those that you love? Well, here to help me talk about men and money matters this morning is Willie Mbanya, but apparently it's Mbanya. You know him from his political talk and of course his presence on this show, or at least the breakfast show and many other shows, as an analyst, but today he is here in the capacity as a mentor. Willie, karibu.
Thank you very much, Shiko. Happy and good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Let's talk about money and men.
Let's talk about, yes, money and men.
Yes.
Good
what
combination.
It means for them. Yes, both combination.
Sasa, first of all, how is Kiamba?
Kiamba is good. It's raining like everywhere else, but the floods are not as worse as other places. But all is well. We thank God for. Kiamba is not more of a flat land. You will find there is slopes where the waters, there's a route, the water that follows, and so we are not badly affected, but we want to pass our sympathies to the people who have been affected. We feel their pain, and we are with them together in prayers.
And how is the political landscape taking you?
Right now we are planning how to get there by 2027, and just trying to do some calculations here and there, talking to the people on the ground, and trying to understand what is the problem, because I fail to understand every time there is an election, Shiko, immediately people go back to lamenting, oh, we wish we did better. Like the many calls I get right now, Shiko, I won't lie, they tell me, we wish we elected you to parliament, because at least we know you would be talking for us, because they feel the current leadership is more of government puppet than, advancing the agendas of the common people there. And especially a time like this when Mount Kenya really needs direction, where our leaders from Mount Kenya have, they are very silent. And so those who are talking that, if that's what you see, the leaders who are talking the language of the people tend to be more popular, not necessarily because they are looking for popularity, but they are able to talk about the real issues that are affecting the people in the mountain. And so there is that gap that is missing, and now we can only do that from the platform of media, and another platform, social medias, because we are not in government. But trust me, if we were in government, we would say, let's continue with the work that Uhuru Kenyatta Muigai, the former president, started in Mount Kenya.
Okay, that's a very bold statement.
Yes, because all the roads, all the infrastructures are still, they're no longer moving forward, and no one is speaking about them. And so they feel, the people of Mount Kenya feel nobody's really speaking about the things that needs to be done. Well,
Michelle Ngele, kazi kwako, we hope you'll be inviting Willie to come speak about the issues that are affecting people in Kiamba
and Mount Kenya at large.
And Mount Kenya at large, right? But anyway, welcome on the show as a mentor yet again. And I think this was a very interesting discussion that we picked up on just having a side chat with Willie when he was over at our sister station, Kameme TV. And we started talking about the importance of money to a man. But, my first question is, why as a guy, does money define you as an individual? Why is it that it kind of gives you some sense of self-worth?
All right, because money is a scarce commodity. And so whoever makes money seems to have hacked a system of how to make money. And Shiko, I will tell you this, and take it from me. There are three most important things in a man's life. And if you hack these three, then you're on your way to success. One is God. Okay, if a man finds God, he finds number two automatically. It's in that system. You find God and then you find your purpose. Your purpose is work.
Yeah.
So God gives you your life. He creates you as a man and then he gives you work. Now in that work is what brings about money. Number three, which is very important for a man, is a good woman by his side.
Oh,
okay. So when you hack God, you hack work, which is money, then you get a helper, a woman who complements what you do, then you can say you're headed somewhere. And so when money is not an issue in your life, it seems you have hacked a very complicated part of so many people's life that they hardly tackle. You will find people at their 40s, they are yet to say this is what I own. People in their 50s are yet to figure out, you know, the mystery about money. And so, you know, women are always looking for for security and for future. So that's why you see women are more attracted to men who have money because they know there is a future that is secured with this man. And so money is very important to a man, extremely important. Yes, because today, to come to this show, I had to fuel my car. That costed money. Everything about a man's life is money, bills, everything. And so if you do not hack money, you will be a broken man. Because I keep saying a broke man is a broken man.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes, a broke man is a broken man.
Because he doesn't seem to have any direction.
Exactly.
But, you know, I know even the good book talks about the aspect of provision and, you know, your God-given role, and even there's that for the woman. But then here comes in the issue of excesses. Does it talk about excesses?
Yes, it does, Shiko.
Having King Solomon style type of money, you know, like it's just overflowing, your cup overrunneth, and now here comes in all these other issues, because some people, especially men, obviously, are just not content with enough. So let's talk about those excesses. Is that what we're talking about here?
By excesses, you mean someone who is extremely wealthy and what they do with that wealth. You know, I don't know up to what point we started believing that the role of provision is man's provision. Because if you look at Proverbs 31 verses 15 to 17, it talks about a woman, the virtuous woman. Everyone is looking for the virtuous woman. But look at what the Bible says about her. This is a culture that is as old as about 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. So I want to believe women back then were like the men, because this is what he says. She wakes up early in the morning, cooks food for her family, and gives the servant their shares. She looks at land and buys it.
Typically what you guys are doing today.
Exactly, typically what we are doing today. So this woman uses her money she has earned and plants a vineyard. Okay, a vineyard is, you would say, more of a business. She makes, the land becomes productive. Ni kama leo, if you get a kaploti, the next thing you want to do is put up some flats. So in this case, the flats are the vineyard. So she puts them. She works very hard. She is strong and able to do all her work. Okay, now that's a culture back then. But today, our culture, because man is defined by three things. The spiritual aspect of a man, of who being a man is, looking at it from a spiritual lens. The other one is culture. What does our culture, what does your culture says about a man? What are the expectations of, you know, from a man, from your culture, where you come from, where I come from? Number three is the social responsibility of a man, who is a man. And so let's talk about what we understand better today. The lenses of our culture as a man. So we know it is the role and the duty of every man to provide. Women are receivers, men are givers. And that's why a man will give a woman a seed. in form of a sperm, and then the woman will give you a child. You build her a house, she will give you a home.
Right.
But the house comes first before a home. So what you give to a woman, she multiplies.
Right.
So you have to look first for the bare necessities, then you give it to a woman, and then she will multiply it.
Right.
If you give a woman 10 shillings, somebody my wife tells me, your 1,000 is not my 1,000.
Oh, really?
Yes. Her 1,000 can do a whole lot of things in the house.
Right.
But yangu kei nikitoka nayo hivi, watu we umhesh nini, I go back without anything. And so it is quite important for man to look for money so that you can multiply. And that's why I said, when you get a good woman, what you give her, it's not the quantity, that you give a woman. It is the element of finding a good woman and knowing what to do with what you bring at home. She can multiply it in a big way.
Right.
And so if you can't give her anything, she has nothing to work with.
I know, right?
Yes.
I love it so far. By the way, having a bit of a technical hitch here with my little ear, which is where my director talks to me. But Dan is my director today, and of course, I'll get that signal to know if at all we do have some text messages coming in. So please go ahead. You can see that SMS number at the bottom of your screen. We also do have our socials. FYI, our WhatsApp number has changed. Date is 0757725083. You want to text in, weigh in on this particular conversation. We've already started on a high note. I'm loving the energy that really is bringing to the show. But let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Should society then go about judging a woman for having such expectations? I have tons of friends who are like, this is a non-negotiable. If this guy does not have money, okay, what are we talking about? And also, some women say, is it wrong for me to want a guy with money? You make it sound like all I am is this superficial being, but I just simply know what I want. I want a guy who's able to provide. Period.
All right.
Yeah.
I would say partly yes and partly no.
Yeah.
Partly yes on this. How much is this woman willing to go to get a guy with money? Sometimes they can go off the limits. You know, they can do anything to get a guy with money. But on the other hand, it is very important for a woman to get a man who has a future or who has begun to creating a future. Why? I will tell you this, Shiko. Before a woman gets married, she's always bothered about the future.
Yeah.
She's worrying, how will my future be? How will my children be? Where will I be living? You know, she's worried about the future. And a young man, before he gets married, he's never bothered about the future.
It's the here and now.
Okay, because it's here and now. And that's why you see a young man without a family, he can do anything with his salary in one weekend. He has exhausted all the salary, and he's okay with that. And he's going to survive for the next 3 weeks without a stable income. You know, borrow here, borrow Peter, you know, PayPal. Exactly. You know, there is a way you can maneuver without money. But now there is an exchange program that happens when marriage happens. Okay, when marriage happens, the woman stops worrying about the future. Because now she has someone is now going to worry about her future, and now the man begins to worry about the future. And so I tell women, it is okay to look for a man who has money because there is a secure future. Okay, and you know, women are from Venus and men are from Mars. And so it is very important for a woman to think about her future. How will the future of my children be?
It's true.
Scientifically, it has been proven that women fall in love with men not by way of what love is, by sympathy and empathy. So you come into a man's life, he's complaining, he's crying, he's telling you, oh, life is hard, and he's creating big castles in your life, you know, in your mind. And so you empathize with a guy, you sympathize with a guy, and you think you have fallen in love with a guy, because women are more of emotional beings than us who are very technical. Men are very technical and very practical, and so women are more emotional, and that's why tunasemanga unakatia dema ingie box, because the way to a woman's heart is through her ears. It is what she hears, and so men have mastered the art of manipulating the emotions of women to yield to something that may not be heading somewhere. And so when marriage happens and the man is not working enough to secure her future, then the reality begins to dawn on her. Oh, okay, there are bills to be paid. There are diapers to be paid. There is school fees to be paid. There is rent to be paid. And this guy is not doing anything about it.
He ain't doing jack.
And so the woman begins to wake up to the new reality. And you realize this was not love. This was sympathy. And so it is quite important for a woman to be very calculative in who she brings in as her mate. So it is good, because I told you, any man who hacks the system of making money, that tells you this is a hard-working man. This is a brilliant guy. There is a future secure with such a man. And so I want to answer you and tell you, it is not wrong for a woman to look for a man who has cracked a means of creating a future and has to show something for it.
Because you know what you want as the woman.
Because you know
you're thinking about your future.
Yes. You know, they say a woman who has mastered her emotions is a powerful woman. Yes, because women are 100% emotional beings. Women tend to make their decisions on emotions. So if a woman is able to master her emotions, she becomes a very powerful woman. It is hard for such a woman to make a mistake. And so she will always go for that alpha male. You know, even in the animal kingdom.
I knew you were going to do that. Okay, in the animal kingdom,
yes. In the animal kingdom, only the strongest of males get to mate.
It's true. The rest are kind of eliminated.
Yes.
It's just how nature is.
Yeah, that's how nature is, because every female wants a strong genes. Someone who has cracked a means to something. Someone who has led. This is a leader in the business field. This is a leader in the political field. This is a leader in the media field. And that's why you see it is easier for women to fall with men who have a name and who have wealth. Because women are always looking for something to conquer. And so it becomes easier for women to conquer a man who has conquered the world.
Oh, nice. You know, we talked a little bit about how men, because of this thing of needing to have that money, that it's almost a never-ending cycle, and it will always be men, you know, like on this wheel, you know, going on and on and on until they get to that level that they desire. But there's a lot of compromising that's taking place. And I want you to explain how men today are compromising their integrity, their values, just for the sake of acquiring that money.
It is because of the philosophies that are coming up in the world today. Things like YOLO, you only live once, you know. The enemy is poverty.
Okay, but then for real.
And we are all in agreement, the enemy is poverty. And so you have to compromise if you are not deeply rooted in your spiritual walk with God. If you're not deeply rooted in your cultural values and your system and your value system as a human being, because something has to die in you if you have to compromise that you can do anything to make money.
And we're saying that a lot. I mean, and you know, you meet guys who tell you they're so frustrated. I even have friends who are like, maze shikomi, hii economy maze ya Ruto ime. I mean, I don't know, I'm just ready to do wash.
True. Because our society doesn't care about the process of making money. We care about the product. Shiko, nobody cares about the product, the process you went through to be where you are today. Where you're seated is the dream of so many young girls, but they do not understand the process you've had to go. You know your journey. And so these young people, you know, us, the X generation, are better off. We found the importance of, you know, of that walk before you get there, and we have been paying the price ever since we understood these things. But the X and the Y generation, these are guys who want the product. They don't care about the process. And so they will do anything just to create that perception out there, I am doing good in life.
Right.
And so anyone in their right mind will not be carried away by the glory of this young man. Don't show me the V8 you're driving. Tell me the story.
Yeah. And I think even Sauti Sol put it so well, in that song, they never care about the story, but all they, is the glory.
Is the glamour and the glory.
They only know the glory, but they don't know the story
They
of how
don't care
we got
about the story.
here.
Show me, I want Shiko, this well-built girl who is in media, and everybody's, by the way, I have seen some guys who are watching and saying, say hi to Shiko, we're big fans. Actually, one of my good friends called Simon, he's DCI, he's saying, say hi to Shiko, I'm a big fan.
DCI.
DCI.
I don't know. Charlene is our show assistant. Should I meet the guy from DCI?
He's just saying he's watching and he's a big fan.
Hi, Simon.
Yes. And many other people.
Yeah.
And so back to the conversation, this generation, most of these guys don't care about the process. That's why they will do anything for the glamour, for the glory.
Yeah.
And you see, for a person like me and you who understand the process, you will hardly move me by what I see. I want to hear your story. Hey, you're a young guy. Oh, you're doing so well.
Yeah.
What did you do that I didn't do right? And so these are the guys you see are dying early because of the things they are indulging in.
Right.
And that's why you see formation of cults and organizations that are so ungodly that kill these young people at an early age.
Right.
They are giving them the baits. Come for this bait. And it's easier for them to fall for this bait because they want to bypass the process of life. Today, Shiko, if you want to eat chapati, and this is a narrative I love telling young people, if you want to eat chapati today, if you know the story of chapati, you would even shelf that chapati because it has gone through so much pain.
Right.
You take the grain of a wheat, you put it on the ground. Now the Bible says, unless a seed falls to the ground and dies, it will remain by itself. So if you want to grow it, there's some level of dying that has to happen. There are some things that you have acquired in life, the process of becoming, that have to die. So that now life can mold you to be productive.
Right.
And so when you submit yourself to that process of life and the wheat falls to the ground, it is buried. It is buried and dies there. Within like 4 days, the shoot comes from within the seed, meaning the seed has died. And so it begins to grow up where the light is. Because we all want to light. Ndo unasikianga aliona mwangaza. Because the light is And so the seed sense there is light beneath the ground. And so it begins to grow looking towards the sunlight. And now once it begins to grow, it survives so much. When a seed is just growing, the shoot is an enemy of so many birds. Every bird, every animal wants to eat that small shoot. And so it has to survive that. That's survival number one. There is rain, there is sunshine, everything, it survives. And then it begins to grow, okay? Once it gets to a place and fields that have matured, it begins to see more seeds coming from the plant. And it thinks, hey, I have made it. In life, this is it. I can see, I died, I was alone, but now I can see so many of us from that, from a single plant of the wheat that died. And it defines that as success. But the farmer knows this is not success. He cuts down the matured wheat.
And then?
Puts it on sun. Where when the sun is scorching too much, you cut the wheat and you put it on the sun. It's hot, it gets to dry. And so it's beaten, shaken off, and then the wheat falls. This might be a bit lengthy, but allow me to talk this process to the young people who are watching us.
Okay.
All right? And so the wheat reproduces into millions of seeds, which we call wheat.
Okay, so let's put that short, or rather put a pin on that one. Willie, I want you to continue that story after the break because I understand my director wants us to actually take a commercial.
All right.
And then when we do, and we'll come back, hold that thought because we're still yet to hear the process of how it gets into that packet and onto your supermarket, right?
Exactly.
Okay, if you haven't sent in a text message already, allow us, by the way, to give you this opportunity to text us on WhatsApp, okay? We'll be sampling those in just a few. Do you agree? What questions do you have? Do you also want to weigh in? At K24 TV is how you can reach us. See you in just a sec. Welcome back to the show. This is our social hour. We're talking about men and money matters. My name is Shiko Kaitani, having a great time in studio with political analyst and mentor Willie Banya. If you're just tuning in, where have you been? Oh my God, the conversation is lit, as they say. We want you to text in if you haven't already. By the way, your people of Kiamba are really letting you down. Why are they not texting to our WhatsApp number? Can you tell them right now?
I will talk to them right away and
Yeah,
tell them,
I
you
mean,
guys.
why isn't everyone from DCI texting in now that you brought up DCI? I mean, I expect the whole
It's just my friend there says he's watching.
Siambia kila mtu kwa ofisi.
A text,
Yes, kwa WhatsApp.
I think
Yeah?
Simon umesikia hiyo maneno.
Yeah.
You know, changamsha hawa watu wengine.
I know, right?
Yes.
Hata mama who is the tea lady mwambie by the way, unaona boy wangu
Yes.
ako hewani.
Hey, maze. Tell your daughters to listen to what this guy is saying.
Hey, why? Okay. So, gentlemen, this conversation is really about you because, you know, he's got a couple of, you know, nuggets to throw at you. We're calling them nuggets of wisdom because this is a very important area for a man, okay, which is about how is he making his money, where is he getting his money, what's he going to do with that money, and if he doesn't have it, how does this actually affect you as a man? And so I'm glad Willie is here because women obviously would not be able to answer these questions.
Yep.
Willie, you talked about the process of making money. We know a lot of the Gen Z generation, you know, will just feel that I don't have time for this. I need to get to there.
They care about
now.
the glory and the glamour.
Right.
Yes.
So you were telling us about this analogy of a chapo.
Yes.
And you got to the point whereby the wheat is now out to dry.
To dry.
It's getting ready to go to the posho mill.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And after the posho mill, what happens?
After the posho mill,
Yes.
it goes through the process of threshing
Uh-huh.
to turn it from being a seed to a powder,
Wow.
which is a painful process for the seed because seed is what we eat, is what we turn it into unga, and even beans, maize. That's the process.
Yeah.
And so from there, it thinks the farmer is done with it. And then it's packaged so well, put on on the shelves of supermarket. Looks, the packaging is nice and thinks, this is it. This is the last process. This is the last stage. Everybody can see me. They don't know my story.
Yeah.
I am on shelves. I have a very good branding and packaging.
Yeah.
And then the buyer, the eater, you know, the Bible says that God gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. And so this guy who sold, he needs to eat the chapo. And so he comes, says, this is a brand I love for chapos. He takes the chapos, buys the unga. The unga is very happy, goes at home. It's kept there for some time. Kumbe, the eater is boiling water to make the dough.
Yeah.
And so the flour is put, which is another painful process. And then it's put there for like 30 minutes to chill. And thinks this is the last stage. And then from there, in a kandwa, it's put on fire.
Yeah.
The last stage is put.
Now it's on fire.
Now it's on fire.
This is the process we're talking about.
Now this is the process, and that's the process of life.
Right.
Everything is about process. There is no product without a process. That's the story.
Okay.
So if you want to be a product to be consumed by people, which is a place and an area of influence, is a process.
Okay.
And so every time you want to bypass the product to be a product, or every time you want to bypass the process to be a product, then you bypass the laws of nature.
That's true.
And
okay.
so, and that tells you can hardly go anywhere or far in life.
So what we are saying here is that the process matters.
Yes.
Gentlemen, the process matters.
Master a process, and you will get the product.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about, now that we've we said discussing young people today, and there's a trend now.
Yeah.
I mean, for I don't know how long, women have always had sponsors. Remember the time there was Sponyo?
Yeah, yeah.
Sponyo. Now it's Wababas.
Yeah.
But we're
Vice
seeing
versa.
things turning
The other way around.
the other way around.
Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about the culture of kept men
Yes.
that's really creeping in.
Yes.
What's happening with young guys today? How did this even come to be? Where a whole Willie
Yes.
akona anti-haria.
Oh man.
Anti-waharia.
Oh, God, far be it from people like us. We would
Yeah.
never speak before men.
Yeah.
You know, it crushes you from inside. And like I said earlier, for you to get there as a man, something has to die for you to be able to live that lie. because it's spiritually wrong, it's morally wrong, and it's culturally wrong. Men are supposed to work and get married to young girls so that the concept of family can start from there. So if you're kept by an auntie of Harry who is 60 years, she can't give birth to a child of yours. She just want to use you, and she will use you and dump you. You know, one day I gathered guts. Sometimes I was living in Ruaka. I asked a friend of mine, we were living in the same plot, because the next to me, there was a woman who used to come and see him, who was driving a black Mercedes. And so I knew what kind of business was happening there. And so one day he opened up to me, and so we had a conversation. I asked him, how does it feel? He says, I have everything I've ever wanted in life. I have a big TV. I have this small car, I have a Subaru, but really I am dead inside. I am empty, but I have everything. And I told him, why don't you start afresh in life and see what you can do for yourself? He says, where do I start? I am used to this life. And so that tells you there's something that has died in him. He has betrayed the true self in him. Some consciousness about him has died. But now because he cares about glamour and glory, when he goes home to see his parents and brothers, he wants to go with that Subaru, and they think they are doing well. And so if you stop living for the glory and start living for the process in hope that the glory will come, because I tell young people, it is the persistence of something that breaks every resistance. So if you master something, eventually at one point it's going to yield. It's going to give into your way. And the nature and the universe at one point conspires with your persistence. I actually say that persistence is a spiritual language that catches the attention of God. So if you're persistently doing something, you're able to break that at one point. And that's the process we are talking about. Fall down, learn again, you know, don't make that mistake again. Start walking until you get there.
And I want to use this gentleman, your friend, as the example here, because this all sounds, you know, good on paper, but then qua ground vitu ni different. When a guy is looking at, you know, at the kind of things he needs to do, lazima malize kole, he has this apartment, he has to dress, he has to do this and all that. I mean, that's essentially what he needs to do. But there's a huge disadvantage that comes with you being a kept guy. Let's talk about what you actually have to go through in order for you to lead that life. And you have this woman who essentially is in charge.
Yes. In fact, you become, I don't want to say you become the wife, because even wives have some form of freedom. Okay, a woman is able to maneuver in her dreams and do the things she wants to do with life. But when you're kept by an older woman than you, and she is applying to all your needs, then first you lose your voice, you lose your freedom, and you lose your manhood. In fact, something dies in you, you stop being a man. And so every time men are speaking, you feel I'm not even worth to speak when men are speaking. And so you have to do the cost analysis of what you want and what you don't want. And sadly, poverty is driving so many young people to that. The other day, a young man, I give some jobs to do there, huko kwa shamba yangu. He was telling one of the other guy, he tell me, and he said, so and so, he was telling me, akipata mama, akuwe namchukua airport, life will change for him, and he would go for that. Okay, and so I wanted to understand where he was coming from. And so one day I had a sitting with him, and he gave me the story of his life and where he's come from. You're almost at the point of agreeing and telling him, ukipata huo mama, go ahead.
Because mashida zimekuwa.
Because mashida, but I tell him, you know, do what a man got to do. You know, wanaume wa kitambo, they used to die with their pride.
It's true.
You know, but nowadays, no man wants to die with that ego. A man is to ego. And so if that ego dies, you stop being productive. And so we need to talk to these young people, tell them, you know, have dreams. You know, pursue these dreams. The economy is bad. Policies are bad, but you try something. If something doesn't give up, eventually God will open up a way for you somewhere in life.
Let's look at this text message. Willie, my director, tells me that at least someone has said what's up to Willie. Finn, good morning. You say, as seen in Ephesians 5:22, women should submit and respect their husbands. And for a man to be respected, he should be able to love and take care of the family. Meaning, money is the strength of husband, being able to provide and earn the respect. I agree agree with you that men and money matters.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I like that. Money, comma,
Yes.
matters.
Yes, yes.
It's interesting, by the way. I was listening to TD Jakes once upon a time, and he said that, by the way, a lot of people don't know, even Christians, because finances are not supposed to be discussed in church, but he's, you know, saying, hello, we didn't talk about money.
We didn't talk about money.
We didn't talk about money. And he says, did you know that the Bible speaks more about money than it does about baptism? I was shocked. I didn't even know that.
Shiko, let me shock you.
Yeah.
There's a scripture in the book of Ecclesiastes. I
Yeah.
think it's 10:19. You can Google. It says that money is the answer to all things. Money is the answer to all things. Money is a kingdom.
Right.
And that's why if you crack the issue of money, you become a powerhouse.
Yeah.
You are able to buy every solution. Money can buy even wisdom. You can pay people to think on your behalf.
This is where the A students come in.
Yes.
Because you can pay them to
You
think for
can
you.
pay them to think for you.
Listen, I really want to talk about now the issue of when you do get the money, because that's also money matters.
Yeah, money.
And I think we also need to expound, like the next time I invite you, we're going to talk about what men tend to be doing now with this money. Assuming now, okay, hizo mashida zimeisha,
Yeah.
uko sasa na hiyo pesa.
Yeah.
There are these temptations that now start to creep in a man's life. Akipata kakiru.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those temptations and how these temptations can be sort of tamed,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah, yep.
Call out your fellow men on this one, because you know how men with money behave.
Yep.
How do they behave?
Shiko, you know the reason why it was important for me to think about a process. A process gives you character.
Okay.
Okay? You're able to withstand any success or any failure. You know, people who have been successful are hardly depressed by failures of life. They knew how they got there. They can always get back. A story is told of a man who was playing golf. And so when he was playing golf, he was called and told, your factory, the only major factory he had, has burnt down. And he said, oh, okay, there is no problem. He went on playing golf. Then another phone call came and said, oh, sorry, from the insurance, sorry, your insurance expired yesterday. We forgot to remind you. So there is no insurance to compensate you. The guy went on to play golf. It's a true story. And so his friends asked him, why are you not bothered? You know what he said to them? The system of how I created that factory has not been burnt. It is still here.
I love it.
It is still here.
Right.
And it is said in a couple of years, he had created like 10 other factories in different cities.
Correct. So character.
Character.
So what you do with that money?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what you do with that money has everything to do with the
who you are.
process
Yeah.
which gave you the character. And that's why you see many people who bump into a large amount of money without having going through a certain process. Give them a certain duration of time, they will go back where they started.
Right.
Because they had a definition of what wealth looks like. So they think wealth is being splashy.
Yeah.
Is
No.
buying a 10 million gold watch. You know, is buying a V8.
By the way, and this is why they talk about old money and new money. People
Exactly.
who have seen money before, you can
Exactly.
actually tell
They say old money,
Yeah.
serious money is
Right.
silent.
it's very silent.
Very
You
silent.
will never
It
know.
doesn't make noise. But look at these guys, okay? Just to confirm what we've been saying for the
Yeah.
last 30 minutes.
Yes.
These young people want to live for the glory and for the glamour,
Right.
to command a certain perception and respect that
Yeah.
comes with money,
Yeah.
which is founded on nothing. And so when this money goes, these are the guys who are committing suicide because they don't have the stamina of living outside that glory.
No, see, and let's not even talk about madam. Because for sure,
Yes.
the money, the sex,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
of course, that so-called respect,
Yes.
all come into this one pot. You know, one of my friends actually told me, I remember me telling her about some guy who was nice, kind of interested in me, very, very humble kind of guy. And I was like, oh, he's so nice. He's all this. I mean, he's showing, you know,
yes.
potential. And she looked at me and she said, no, honey, it's just because he's broke.
Yeah.
Broke men are always loyal.
Exactly. Because they know they have mastered the language of women. That's why I said
But people with money are never loyal.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
A research was done
Yeah.
on successful men,
Yeah.
not corrupt politicians whom we think are rich.
Your friends.
My friends, in the field I am. Success, I think it was done by Cambridge.
Yeah.
I will share the article with you. They saw that most successful men, real success, men who have been able to build something from the ground, from nothing to something,
Right.
they all had something in common. They were mostly faithful to their women.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that because, I mean, what they see, what is the
Character.
point? It's the character. What's
It is
the point?
Character.
Yeah.
Character builds wealth and character sustains
That
wealth.
wealth.
Yes.
Correct. You
Shiko,
can't
if
keep
today
it.
I give you 1 million,
Yeah.
you're not a millionaire. If you do not have the character to sustain that 1 million
Correct.
and grow that million. And so money has life, by the way,
Yeah.
and money can die. Money is gained through you persistently, you create a pattern and a discipline of creating money, which also sustains that money. And so in the absence of that discipline and character, and money comes in, then that money is shaky.
I love it.
Now, I told you something in the beginning of the show.
Yes.
That a woman who has mastered her emotions is a powerful woman. You didn't ask me, and who is a powerful man?
The one who has mastered the art of
Sexual desires. If you manage if a man who controls his sexual appetites,
Yes.
they say, have mastered 50% of his problems.
Wow.
It is easier said than done, okay? Because money has a way of, especially this young money, you just want to show, and there's a reason why people show money.
Yeah.
Old money is silent. These old fellows who are loaded, who have looked for their wealth in the right way, they are very silent. They come in a place, they just want to hang around with everybody.
Yeah.
But when that man leaves, ndio tunaulizana, Shiko umejua huo ni nani?
Yeah.
He's the owner of... Na mbona amenyamaza hivyo? But our age mates.
Right?
Do you know why we are flashing these things?
Yeah.
It's so that we can fulfill the lust and the desires of the flesh.
Oh, no.
We want to sleep around. It is easier said than done, Shiko.
Right.
And so you have to wake up every day and crucify your flesh if you want to sustain wealth.
Correct.
If you
Because it's
want
just draining and draining and draining, and you don't realize it's going.
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going. And money has a way of making people to be generous. If you're a man, you become generous with
Absolutely.
women.
I know a
and
few. Yeah.
And so if you see a man who has mastered the art of making money through the right character,
Right.
you might think they are mean people, but they know who deserves their money.
Oh my God, Makofi. Like just a silence, moment of silence there. Moment of silence. Let me just clap for you on that one. I like the fact that you brought up the issue of these are the men who are killing themselves. But I want to really broaden this one, Willie, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's very sad because we talked about this before the show, and this was really what made me feel, oh my God, there's so much more to you.
Yeah.
Other than a political
Than
analyst or a
politics.
politician,
Yeah.
there's so much to you in the sense of you know so much about society,
Yeah.
the world, And so there's so many suicide cases on the rise.
Yeah.
And you said, to be honest, it boils down to financial constraints for
Exactly.
men.
Yes.
So is this what we need to understand? Why more men are offing themselves is because of the money issue.
Yes. Shiko, if you hear today a woman has committed suicide or has taken her own life, there are probably things to do with emotions. A serious heartbreak,
Yeah.
she can't overcome it. Women hardly commit suicide because of money. But a man, when he comes to his dead point, he can't see the future. He doesn't know how to maneuver from that point. Then he begins to feel a sense of being unworthy. Unworthiness, sense of feelings attack him. And he feels, what on earth am I here to do? If I cannot be able to provide the basic needs for the people who look up to me, what is my essence? Shiko, I'll give you a brief story about my life. One day I came across a scripture that changed the entire of my life. That scripture said that help me, it's in the book of Psalms, help me to number my days that I may gain a heart of wisdom. It was very many years ago. And so I planned my life. I knew where I would want to go. Okay? I wanted to be somewhere at 30. I had a definition of what wealth is, and I knew how to go there. And so at 30, immediately I was at 30, I had achieved most of the things I had in mind of what success is. There's a place I wanted to live. At 30, I had bought land and built that place. I had a vision board in my cubicle when I was a teenager that I had written my dreams on the wall.
Yeah.
So buy land somewhere, is a leafy suburb, a nice place, build a house, you know, the kind of a woman I wanted to marry. And so at 30, I had achieved all that.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got into a place of depression. Because now I have achieved what I wanted to achieve at 30.
What's next?
What is next? I got into a depression of about 2 years, trying to figure out what is next. And so I asked God, what on earth am I here for? And that was the last prayer I made, because I felt I was almost by there committing suicide. And so God started, you know, when you get to a dead end and now you realize there is a higher power than you,
yeah,
and you call for help, there is a way he shows up. I'm a living testament.
And now look at you. It's like you barely have enough time to complete all the tasks that you have.
Exactly.
Because there's so much purpose now.
That is why I'm in politics.
Yeah.
Because I've realized there is a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
Mentally, politically, and even economically.
Wow.
To liberate an entire generation.
Wow.
I am now in the course of becoming, and I enjoy the process of
Isn't
becoming.
it?
I'm not yet there,
And you
but
just
I
got started.
enjoy, yes,
Yeah.
and I enjoy the process of becoming.
Fantastic.
Yes.
You know, as we start to say goodbye, I want you to give your parting shot right now. And unfortunately, time is up. But what do you really want to say to men in literally a couple of seconds who are watching and are feeling, okay, you know what, I'm in that slump. Willie is kind of speaking to me now, and he gets it. He gets it. Why I have to earn that money. What do you want to tell to those men who are in their struggle right now?
I will tell them money is very important, but money has a means and money has a way. There is a route that it follows. So create that route. That is the first thing. You have to have a vision for your life. And then apart from having vision, write down how you want to get there. Get down, soil your hands with the work to get there. Don't give up. Work is what builds money. And that is why I said in the beginning of this conversation, if you hack God, man can't survive outside God. And then you hack work, because it's God who gives purpose. Work is in purpose. Money is in work. And then you get an idea of the kind of a woman you need. You will get there.
Yeah.
And don't live your life like there is no God.
I know.
There is a God in heaven. When we get to that place, we can't see anything beyond us. You invite God. I am telling you, I'm a politician, but I speak more of God because I know what he has done for me. I have been there. I have been there. I wanted to commit suicide at one point, but I am here talking to young people.
Oh my God.
And to the youth of this nation. Product. There's no product
without the process. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, Willie Mbanya here in studio with us today, talking to us about men and money matters. If you loved this conversation as much as I did, why don't you let me know? By the way, DM me as at Shiko Kaitani. You can see how it's spelled, SHIKO KAITTANY. And of course, continue to comment through our social media platforms at K24 TV. Willie, I can't thank you enough for making time this morning. Asante sana.
Karibu sana, Shiko.
Bless you, and bless you, the people of Kiambaa who also forgot to message in. You are forgiven.
You're forgiven.
Bye. Have a wonderful day up ahead. Interactive is up next. Okay.